Hi Virgo, this is your horoscope for December 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a rundown of what the planets are doing in December, and hopefully that'll give you an idea of where the positives are and where some of the potential challenges lie, so you can make the most of the good stuff and avoid some of the potential pitfalls. So the first thing that I notice here is on the 2nd of December, we have Mercury, the communication planet, that goes into Capricorn, and it shifts out of Sagittarius in your 4th house of your roots and family and what makes you feel at ease, and it moves into your 5th house of what you love. So Mercury is your ruler, it's the communication planet, it governs your perspective and the way you see the world. In Capricorn, Capricorn's kind of your cousin because it's another earth sign. Capricorn's focus is on work and getting things done. So with Mercury going into Capricorn in your 5th, you're going to be very stringent about what you love and what you're passionate about and how you can organize that so that it works for you, right? So for instance, in my case, I love making my videos. So it would be this thing of, for instance, organizing the structure of the video, so the format and the YouTube settings and the background and all of that stuff. So you're able to take something that already exists and you're able to improve upon it, kind of like the Queen of Pentacles in the Tarot. So that's significant. The first 2 weeks of December, I would say you're very, very good at that. So look at creative things that you've done that maybe aren't quite complete and you want to perfect and finish. You'll be able to put those finishing touches on it very well. And then also Pluto, the planet of transformation and rebirth, is in your 5th house of what you love in Capricorn, 28 degrees, 2 and 8 is 10, that's 1 in numerology. So it's my energy, my intention to make this situation perfect. Now, don't get me wrong, I think perfectionism is a real thing and it can be super debilitating. But in this case, you're able to take something that you love and get it to that place where it feels perfect to you. And that's a different vibe, you know, it feels perfect, it doesn't actually have to perfect, but I'm very, very pleased with it. On the 5th of December, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, creativity, that moves out of Libra in your 2nd house of money and your belongings, and it goes into Scorpio, the sign of getting to the core truth meaning of something, transforming it, and that's in your 3rd house of communication. So you may find, Virgo, that a lot of the things that you're experiencing, suddenly one, they make sense to you. But second of all, you may feel a lot more enthusiastic about sharing things which are usually kept private. So if you notice that, you know, you're saying things which you actually hadn't planned and you're kind of revealing things which ultimately you want to keep private, be kind of cautious around that, because I do get the case of verbal kind of, if it's on your tongue, it's out there, right? So that's something I would suggest instead, shift that around and create the Scorpio focus on, again, things that you love to do, particularly work, any work that involves communication, and how you can perfect that. So again, if you've got a manuscript, that would be like going over it one more time to make sure it's exactly the way you want it to be and that you can finish it once and for all. You know, like, I don't know if like essays at university and like manuscripts, once you put the final touches on them, those are documents and texts that are set in stone. All the changes are then done. So this is an opportunity to really get all of that closed off so you can end up with something that you can then stand in its own right, and that doesn't need to be worked on anymore. Neptune, the water planet of dreams and intuition, that's in Pisces in your 7th house of relationships, and so is the transiting rising sign and Saturn. So Saturn is structure and security. The rising sign is really my default setting. So with all of those in Pisces, you're going to be very generous when it comes to your relationships. Even if you notice that something has gone awry, usually as a Virgo, you might find it quite easy to kind of say that, and this doesn't really work, how about you try this? You are very, very diplomatic when it comes to other people's stuff. So it's kind of an interesting spot you're occupying here, because your own feelings and stuff, I just want to express to everybody. But when it comes to other people's stuff, I'm very, very reticent and kind of reserved in terms of giving my own opinion on it. So it's an unusual kind of state of being. The 12th of December, we have the new moon in Sagittarius, and that happens in your 4th house of family and your roots, right? You've also got Ceres, abundance, Mars, drive, and motivation, and the transiting midheaven, which is work, in your 4th house. So what I'm interested in is the things that are most solid in my life. The place I put my head down on the pillow, the roof over my head, the people in my life who've been there for years and years, the job that I've done for a long time. How can I take that and transform it into something that's more alive? How can I update my relationships and my roots? So, the decor may have suited you 2 years ago. Does it still suit you? So it's about taking, again, something that is, going on an adventure with it and making it alive as such and saying, how is this going to transform? How is this going to develop? So the example that's coming to mind is if you're like a content creator on Instagram, you may have presented, let's say, pictures of yourself a certain way. But you're not going to be the same person in 2023 that you will be in 2025, because we all grow and develop, right? So then it's about reflecting those changes in your output and making this thing that you're presenting dynamic and including your own identity in it. That's something that is really easy. So if you feel like, wow, this job, really nothing's changed, or this art form, nothing has changed, and you're getting to that point of, I can almost do this in my sleep, then it's really a green light to say, okay, let's grow this, let's adapt it and make it change for the better. Mercury goes retrograde also on the 12th of December. Mercury is your ruler, so for you to be aware of what Mercury is doing is a good thing, because it does affect you. So with Mercury going retrograde until the 24th, it appears to go backwards, and it gives you the opportunity to evaluate things that are already there. So I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but it kind of underlines this point nicely, that you're able to look at something that already exists, and you're able to zoom out and say, this is how I want to tweak it, I want to take up this, I want to add this. So you're really like someone who's creating a quilt, the quilt being your life, you having the needle and thread and saying, this is what's going to go here, this is what's going to go there, so that ultimately I have this product which I'm going to be really satisfied with. So if perfection is beyond all of us usually, then here in December you can really get to a place where you're thrilled with the outcome. And that really continues for the majority of the month till the 23rd. And in the meantime, what I noticed is that all the outer planets stay in the signs that they're in. So for instance, Uranus is in Taurus, it stays in Taurus. Neptune's in Pisces, it stays in Pisces. The outer planets are really society, the outer world, the public. So you're not going to find that is very changeable. You're not going to notice that you need to adapt yourself based on responses that you get or what the outside world is doing. You've got this private little bubble where you have time and quiet to I don't want to use that word, the P word. You're able to improve upon what already exists so that you're thrilled with the outcome. On the 23rd then, we have Mercury still retrograding, and it retrogrades back into Sagittarius in your 4th house, and it's at 29 degrees in Sagittarius. It's next to Mars and Ceres. So again, how can I make my roots feel more alive? What new adventures would this thing that exists in my life in its own right benefit? So Virgos who are a little bored, Virgos who haven't been able to set goals, Virgos who feel like progress is slowed to like a crawl, things are moving at a glacial pace, that's over. And the key thing here is that it's your fire that heats things up and generates movement. So you're ultimately the driving force behind all of this. So with that, believe in yourself, realize that you have grown, that you have changed as a person, and that in itself can be really rewarding. I wasn't the person I was last month. Amazing. Hooray, we're going in the right direction. 26th of December, we've got a full moon in Cancer, and the full moon in Cancer happens for you in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And again, that's beautiful because the moon rules Cancer. The moon is very comfortable in Cancer. The moon is the mother, it's your intuition, it's your ability to heal, and that desire to be selfless and to just nurture other people for the sake of it because it makes you happy. In your 11th house of hopes and dreams, it's like, I want to work at taking care of myself and realizing my hopes and dreams and adapting my circumstances so that I feel comfortable in them. So rather than just sitting on any old couch, you're sitting on a super comfortable couch, which is the right color, and you've got fluffy pillows, which make you feel at home and warm, and It's a vibe rather than just a thing. So you're able to take an inanimate object and you're able to transform it into something that has a spirit of its own. You're able to take a relationship which may be ho-hum and you're able to make it into something like, oh my God, the two of us, we experienced this great thing, and it reconfirms that we're meant to be together, or it reminds me why we became friends in the first place. 30th of December, we have Venus going into Sagittarius, also now joining your 4th house. So the desire or the lack of embarrassment, speaking your truth, kind of disappears. I'm just thinking of a funny example. I remember, because I started filming myself on things like YouTube and TikTok and stuff. And I remember the first time I was in a taxi and I filmed something. And I didn't say anything because I was like, oh, you know, the taxi driver, like, I don't want him to hear my stuff. Oh, and by the way, I know it's not particularly polite to live stream when you're in a taxi. Regardless of that, I wouldn't do it now. But I did do it a few times. And like by the 3rd or 4th time I was in the taxi, I was like sharing whatever I wanted, because from the previous experiences, I was like, well, the likelihood of him listening aren't that great anyway. So, or her, you know, so you become more comfortable with things, and you particularly become more comfortable with sharing really hidden things, which you may see as normal. So again, if you don't want to reveal certain truths, up until the 30th of December, be careful around that. With Venus going into Sag on the 30th, that's no longer an issue. You're now focused on what you can experience in a real world setting. Your feelings and your words aren't as much of a focus. And the other meaning I'm getting with all that fire in your 4th house means that your group, your friend group, your family, the people you identify with, as a team, there may be something that galvanizes all of you into action, or you all feel motivated in the right area, you're on the same page, and you can do something as a team. So it's really about you changing that dynamic and freshening it up, but also getting back to a place of, we understand each other, we're like this. And it can really, that kind of work can cement your relationship and really help it for the foreseeable future. It's like having a really nice foundation you can build on. And then also at the end of the month on the 30th, we've got Jupiter, the lucky planet, that goes direct in your 9th house of travel and education and expanding your life and making things bigger. And it's next to Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected. So with those two in your 9th, it really bodes well in terms of what's coming next. Anything that you start in December, or that you perfect, or even start in earnest for the first time, is going to benefit from that solid foundation and is going to grow the way you would expect it to grow. So for Virgos who are trying to improve or refresh or start all over again, this is really a wonderful time to kind of plant those seeds and to watch them grow in the way that you want. You know, with a plant, like when you've got a bonsai tree or something, not that I've ever done bonsai, but then when you like, a branch is growing and you attach a weight to one so that you get a certain curve that you want, that's what you're able to do very well. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in December. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. The chart really tells me so much about you. I always call it like a blueprint to the soul because I can see pretty much everything. Life purpose, strengths, weaknesses, travel, what's coming up in future, personal identity, income, communication, family, roots, daily routine, hopes and dreams, anything at all. So if you would like a personal reading with me, please do get in touch. Have a fabulous month, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.